Welcome to The Biker and the Witch. I'm Dr. Sunshine, the biker psychologist,
And I'm Foxglove the Witch.
and we are coming to you with our glasses of wine from our living room on a cold and snowy Colorado night. We can show you around. We don't have a full altar set up, but we do have Aleister Crowley behind us. We've got our super cool stuffed bat there, our taxidermied bat. And see, Bella's over there. We're usually in front of the fireplace right there. But today we are over here.
All right. We hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Yeah, ours was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, filled with gratitude and loved ones and friends and family. And so we're going to record a reading. As you saw maybe from our last post, we had a week off due to some health issues and chaos.
all right.
All right. So I told Foxglove that I have a question for this reading.
I have not been revealed.
Yeah.
Don't know what the question is yet.
And I'll be up front and say that I'm a little bit hesitant about doing a reading for my own question because I'm worried about bias, about being biased and interpreting things a way I want them to go, even unconsciously. So I'll ask Foxglove to
keep you in check.
Yeah, keep me in check.
Okay.
If I'm, if the interpretations, I'll try to do it myself too, but if the interpretations seem, I don't know, forced or in a particular direction, let's check that and make sure we don't. So I had therapy earlier today. And one of the things I was talking about in therapy is this idea that there's some people I've known in my life who, well, let me start this way. So I try really hard to be better than a decent person. I try to be a really exceptional person. I try to live to a I hold myself to a high standard for how I treat people and how I live, and I've known some people in my life who I don't want to emulate. There are people that I definitely know I don't want to be like them. And there's more than one. However, there are some ways in which I am very much like these people. And not just in the way that, like, well, we all have two arms, we all have two legs, we're all, it's not that vague, it's not that general. There are some specific ways, undeniable ways, in which I have similarities with these people whom I want to be not like, whom I want to not try not to be like. And I know, like my brain, I know, I get it that that in many ways I am nothing like them. In many ways, in most ways, in important ways, I'm nothing like them. I get that. But it's almost like I'm being taunted with these similarities. And so I don't know. I feel like it's so blatant and so obvious in my face that there's something to be learned from it. And I don't know what that is. I don't know what I'm supposed to learn. I don't know if I've thought maybe I have some hubris about being a good person, like I'm just overconfident, and maybe that's teaching me to be humble. We're all more alike than we are different. I don't know. But there's something. So I thought I would put that out there and see what comes up in the cards.
That's a pretty awesome question. So, word it for me.
Well, guess what is it I'm supposed to, how do I word it? So I would like to be at peace with who I am, regardless of how much I am or am not like anybody else.
Right.
but I'm having a real hard time being at peace with the similarities I have with these people. And so I'm wondering what I need, what it's going to take, what's in the way of me just having peace around who I am without regard for.
So is that the question you want? Because you kind of asked why. The why. What was the lesson in it?
Well, yeah, so I feel like if I understood, I feel like if there was something to be understood, let's start with that. I don't know that there's a lesson, but if there was, I feel like if there's something to be understood about it, understanding it better would help me be at peace.
Okay. Well,
So,
what is there to be learned?
yeah.
Okay. All right. So our oracle deck we're going to start off with is by Kyle Gray. It's Angels and Ancestors. All right. Moon. Take note of intuitive messages. Bottom of the deck. Druid. Hold the space. So I am going to look up the meanings to these. I mean, right off, it's obvious that it's telling you to use your intuition.
Not my strong suit.
Right.
I'm an intellect guy.
Right. Right. So, but I want to see what the actual meaning of it is, because these are some pretty awesome. They have some really awesome messages to them. 126. You'll eventually get there. All right, there we go. All right, Moon. Use your intuition, practice discernment, see through illusions and blockages. The moon is strongly associated with the divine feminine and the energy of receiving. If the sun is God, the moon is goddess, and so she offers a powerful energy of polarity and balance. She has a cyclic energy and is therefore strongly connected to emotions, which often come and go in waves, and is somewhat interesting behavior too. So when the moon appears in a reading, you are often being told that not everything is as it seems. The moon has a dark side, just dark, not negative, and can show you what you've been kept in the dark about. So extended messages are for upside downs.
Okay. What's the druid?
And the druid, there's a lot I can get from that moon card that applies to you. All right, 30. All right. Druid, hold things together. Don't make any sudden moves or changes. Stand strong, knowing you are where you are supposed to be. The Druids were the ancient wild swans of the British Isles. They had a deep connection with Earth, the sun, and the moon. They were the scholars who created the Ogham tree language, and they were known for their creative skills in storytelling and poem. You know what, I need to read that other one, sorry. When the Druid card appears in a reading, you're being guided to dig deep within and hold your station. If you're wondering what to do next or have a sense of anxiety about what is unfolding in your life, it's time to shift your perceptions and move back to the state of trust. Don't change your plans or do anything drastic. Just trust in the process and let everything happen as it needs to. before taking any more steps. Think of a tree. It has strong roots, yet it continues to grow and bear fruit. Your life will be a reflection of this. I'm going to go back and read the moon because for some reason I had thought that that was the reversal meaning, and it is not. All right. Lunar energies are surrounding your life, allowing you to understand what is standing in your way. Not everything is as it seems, and you're being guided to use your discernment. Wasn't there discernment in the other one? I think they had it in discernment in the Druid too. When the moon appears, intuitive or psychic urges are increased, so take note of any feelings arising in this time. There are messages from your soul and angels. The moon shines her light on all that has been kept in the dark. So ask yourself if you are avoiding anything or refusing to deal with something of importance. If so, it could be holding you in the shadows where your destiny is to be in the light. If this card appears when you feel someone isn't being completely real with you, know that their intentions will be revealed to you. The moon has no secrets. She reveals all. There's a lot about intuition and digging deep,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and using your emotions over your intellect to kind of feel that out.
Yeah, it's weird. It's hard for me to like make sense of it when I hear it. And just
Mm-hmm.
kind of my head's cloudy and
It's very hard when you're doing readings for yourself. Um, it really seems like they come so easy for other people, but
yeah.
it's much more difficult. Um, so yeah, uh, using your intuition. This right here says everything. Like it's the feminine and the masculine and the intellectual side.
The
It's like,
druid.
yes,
Yeah.
it's you. And it's almost like your masculine is there, the intellect is there. What we need to work on and focus on and really dig deep and feel is that feminine side, which is intuition, which is emotions, which is really letting those feelings loose and digging deep in them instead of kind of pushing them away and be like, I don't want to feel these feels.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't want to think about these things. I don't want to think about these people. I don't want to look at how I might be in some ways like this person that I do not want to be with. I mean, like,
Mm-hmm.
and it does talk about roots. And regardless if we like our family members or where we come from, it's part of our ancestry, it's part of our roots.
All right.
You know,
Yeah.
it doesn't mean that we have to grow the same way, you know. Um, but there is stuff there to be learned. All right, let's dig deeper. This is a new tarot deck.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Unfolding Path Tarot. I saw it in an advertisement on Facebook and instantly I had to have it. It spoke to me, screamed at me. So let's go. You've gotten messages like this before, talking about your feminine side, intuition, and emotions.
Mm-hmm. It makes me think of when I did my psilocybin journey, and you know, I took a hero's dose of psilocybin, and for 8 hours, literally, I just like I don't even know how to describe it. I laid on the floor, and I want to say I cried, but I wasn't crying. I was wailing, like it was loud,
Like gut
and it was
wrenching.
gut wrenching. Yeah, just and it was like I mean, it wasn't straight that. It was like it was a very strange experience. I had wonderful guides on that journey that were amazing, and just let that happen and didn't try to cheer me up or whatever. And it's funny to say cheer me up because I don't know that I felt sad or anything, but
I think it's just that overwhelming release.
yeah, I would be looking at them or talking to them or something and laughing, like we would joke a little bit, and I would notice that there was like a tear, one tear running down my face. And I'd get on that one tear and I'd be like, oh, there's a tear running down my face. just as I was noticing that, I would immediately notice like, oh, like I'm actively crying, right? And I would notice that I was crying. And as I noticed that, I would hear myself wailing,
Mm.
and I would wail like wrenching, gut wrenching, like hoarse voice wailing. And then I would kind of look at them, and we'd all start laughing, and I'd be laughing again. And then I would notice a tear, and I'd be like, oh. And as soon as I noticed the tear, I had this awareness that I was like instantly crying. And I did that for like 8 hours, just cyclical like that for 8 hours. And um, I actually feel like I've got so much inside of me that I could do that 4 or 5 more times and just wail for like the whole time.
So, one of the things this could be telling you, especially since that popped into your head,
Mm.
maybe it's time for more purging.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe it's time for some more journeys
Yeah,
that allow you to purge all of that you
yeah,
have held inside,
yeah,
because that is way more than
yeah.
one
I
purge.
mean, afterwards, I felt a lot better, but it was very clear that it's not done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's not done. But I could very much see that being part of this message. All right, one more. All right. All right. First card, the Fool. A journey.
Mm.
Justice. Now we got two major arcanas right at the top.
Mm-hmm.
3 of Cups. 9 of Swords. Emperor. Bottom of the deck. King of Cups. All right. So the Fool is the beginning of their arcana. So that's the major arcana. It is the first step in the Fool's journey. It is about new beginnings. It is about taking risks. It's about making that leap off of a ledge that, that's scary. Like you don't know what's down there. You don't know what's going to happen, but it's taking that leap anyways. You know, justice is all about balance. It's all about getting what you deserve. And that could be in good ways, and that could be bad ways. It just depends on like what you've put out there, and then getting it back. Um, with these cards that surround it, it to me shows that getting what you deserve. Like you are finally like getting your just dues, but in a good way. Like you've worked really, really hard, and these are coming into you. And it's going to bring, balance. And it is like justice is about truth. She's not blindfolded, she sees things. So it's not about intuition. This is about your intellect. This is about seeing
Yeah,
things.
that's what the sword is. Yeah.
Yeah. So it is about seeing the truth, and her seeing the truth and judging based on the absolute truth. 3 of Cups is about celebrations. This is about good times. This is about getting together with your friends and your families, and just having a really good time. It's celebrations. 9 of Swords is about anxiety, things that keep you up at night, things that you worry about and ruminate about, and have a hard time letting go of. It could be nightmares, fears. Our last card is the Emperor, another major arcana. He's all about leadership. He is the man in charge. He calls the shots. He lays the laws, and you follow the laws. He's pretty strict and can be very like rigid, and he's not a boss that you can like joke with and go out and play golf with. Like no, this dude's all about business and making sure that everything underneath him runs the way it's supposed to run. He is in charge. But it's very much about being in control and authoritative and leadership. Bottom of the deck is King of Cups. So King of Cups is all about your emotions and your intuitions and everything. And the King of Cups is somebody who has mastered those feelings and emotions. He is loving, he is caring, he is in touch with his feminine side, he's in touch with his intuition. A lot of these cards in this deck has a goldfish on it. Fish are associated with good luck. and fortune and good luck. So we have that on there. So what I am getting with these cards and with this is that it's very much about a new journey. It's very much about taking that leap to really dive deep into those intuitions and those emotions that you have, those feelings, all that stuff that you harbor and that's in there about these people that you do not want to be like, and really tearing down like your emotions and feelings towards the things that you might have in common, and really processing those feelings. And it's probably almost like a resentment, a fear that you might have something in common with them,
Oh,
and
it's
that
definitely a fear that I have,
Mhm.
you know, a lot more in common with them than I want to have.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think this is like really diving deep into that, really using all of your aspects, but definitely focus on your feminine. You know, everything else is there, but you really need to focus on the feminine aspects, and really sit down and spend time digging deep. You know, to find out like what all these emotions and feelings means. It will be something, and the answers will be like, it's going to be your just dues. It's going to be like you're going to work really, really hard on this, and you're going to get your answers. You're going to get the answers that you deserve. They're all there. You just have to dig deep and take this journey and really focus on emotions over intellect. And that you're going to get and it's going to be great. It's going to be amazing.
Mm.
Celebration. Like this is going to be like something that you're like, oh my God, finally. You know, it's not going to be anything bad. I am sure like the journey, there's going to be
Yeah.
emotional like times, but
All right.
once you
That's
do,
them.
yeah, once you do it, you are going to be so happy that you did this. You're going to be so happy that you dug deep and you got your answers, and these are going to make you feel amazing. And I think this doesn't mean that this is part of the journey. I think the anxiety and what's keeping you up at night is the fact that the fear of taking the journey, the fear of making that leap into the unknown, all those emotions, all that history that is back there buried deep and locked away, and really like popping the lock on that, and letting that stuff kind of flood through.
Mm.
Because I know you worked really hard on packing that stuff away,
Yeah.
and not letting people see that, and not really even letting yourself see it or feel it. There's rare moments that pop through,
Yeah.
very rare moments. But the rest of the time, it's I don't think it's ever been properly processed, except a touch in that first journey. And I think before you take another journey, you need to start really opening up and sitting with things.
Yeah. I think I also know, and some of these cards like the Fool and the Justice,
Mm-hmm.
um, and both the King of Cups and the Emperor,
Mm-hmm.
maybe even the Druid. Um, I think on some level I know, like in my gut, I know that the
Mm-hmm.
answer is to like I keep. So I think the reason I'm not at peace with this, not at ease with it, is because I want so badly to differentiate myself from these people and to be different from these people.
Mm-hmm.
And on some level, like I said, on some level I am. And on some level I can look at it and there are clear differences in how I handle my life and how they handled their lives. However, some of these similarities are so like in my face that I can't justify them. I can't explain them away. I can't like
Mm-hmm.
ignore them. And I think on some level, what I'm going to end up having to do is to accept, maybe even maybe even to embrace the fact that, and this is what you were talking about with the druid, with the common roots,
Mm,
right? Common roots. Um, and not everyone I'm thinking of is family,
right.
um, but the idea um, that I absolutely have things in common with them and similar to them, and that this King of Cups and Emperor sort of like, um, you know, that I have those qualities, or those, they're not qualities really. They're more like circumstances that are similar.
Mm,
Um, are like they are similar in that I figure out or choose to grow in a different direction from
mm.
those similarities than they do. But man, it's like it's muddy water, you
Mm.
know. It's muddy water. It's
Well,
like,
I mean, the moon, a lot of stuff is stuff that's unseen. It's stuff that you have not seen yet,
you know,
but it's in there. It's deep down. I'm in there. Like you have to use your intuition and you have to
mm,
dig deep. The
yeah,
moon, I mean, you only see the moon at night.
yeah,
But I will tell you what else this is telling me. This is all about shadow work. This is all about learning to embrace the light
yeah,
as well as dark.
yeah,
Because we all have light and we all have dark.
yeah,
You talk about our inner demons. And we all have aspects of ourselves that we're not really proud of,
yeah,
that we don't really like. But the more that we recognize them and accept them,
yeah,
the more that we can balance that in with our light side.
yeah. It was making me think about a book I read a long time ago called The Gift of Fear by a guy
Mm,
named Gavin DeBecker. And The Gift of Fear is about basically about people who have survived, you know, being assaults and attacks and things
mm,
like that because they listened to their intuition. And the fact of the matter is that their intuition was not like a sixth sense or something magical or um, extra sensory. It was just that their brains picked up on like actual things that were there that were
mm,
small that many of us would dismiss, and they
right.
chose to attend to them, and by choosing to attend to those things it kept them alive. And
Yeah, it's almost like the subconscious was picking up on
yeah,
that stuff.
yeah, right. And so he has a chapter talking about one of the big mistakes we make is when we think about, you know, murderers, killers, especially the horrific ones, the Jeffrey Dahmers and the
Mm-hmm.
Ted Bundys and the, you know, he says the language we use, like we refer to them as monsters. And he
Mm,
says when you call someone a monster, like the word monster puts in your mind the image of something that you could recognize really easily because it's not human, right?
right.
And you would recognize it really, you could recognize the way you would recognize a lion as not being human,
Right.
or a dog as not being human. You would recognize a monster. But the fact of the matter is that Ted Bundy and Charles Manson and Jeffrey Dahmer are, they look just like us. They are more, we have more in common with them
Then we do.
than we have different from them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And until we can learn to understand that these people are not monsters, they're humans just like us who have gone off different paths, we're going to have a hard time recognizing when we're in danger.
Mm,
And I don't know that I'm in danger in this situation. It's not like that. But yes, I want to think of these other people as monsters
mm,
and therefore very different from me.
mm-hmm.
And I think there's just undeniable evidence that I have a lot of similarities with them. And I guess I need to figure out how to um, stop wanting to see myself as different
Mm,
and just be worried with who I am and how I'm living and not with comparisons of any sort, maybe.
right. I also think that once you recognize something like that about yourself
Yeah.
and that you deal with it and see it, you're aware of it, and that's something that you can really better keep under control. Whereas people go through life and not ever dig deep and do shadow work, and they're just spilling that stuff out everywhere,
Mm.
you know?
Well, yeah, but it's not, these are not things that I want to just keep under control. They're things that I want to be totally on the opposite end of the spectrum. But
Right.
yeah,
Right. And that's not something that, just like sitting here and acknowledging it, that's like,
yeah,
oh, okay, it's all better. No,
yeah,
it
yeah,
is a journey.
yeah.
It is a journey. And
Um,
the Fool goes through 21 different lessons
mm,
in life, you know? So this could be a beginning of this journey of you digging deep
yeah,
and really, really looking at this side of yourself
yeah.
and going through the different lessons. And it is something that makes you nervous. It's going to be something great. It's going to be an
Mm,
amazing result. But yes, there's going to be worry and anxiety and stuff like that during the trip. But in the end, this is going to lead you to be in charge of your life. You are going to be in control. These fears, these things that have happened to you, these people that you are talking about, they're not going to have anything to they're not going to have any influence, you know?
yeah,
Like you are going to be in control of your life. You're going to be the one who makes the rules and decisions and is in control of your life. And this is how you're going to do it because you are going to master those emotions that you bury deep inside. You are going to find balance between your masculine and your feminine and learn to not only use your intellect, but to use your emotions and your intuitions. Because if you lock all that stuff away and keep it hidden, you can't do anything about it.
yeah.
You can't deal with something that's not there, that is buried deep inside. It's something that you have to dig out and open up and sit with.
Well, fuck.
Well, damn. That is not what I was wanting. Is there any of these that you want me to go deeper into?
Whatever you're feeling, because honestly,
The
it's
justice.
like it's one of these things where I think my brain is defensive, and I'm having a hard time even
This is not something you want to
seeing
hear.
clearly. Right? Yeah.
This is not something you want to hear. It's
Right.
not something you want to do.
Yep.
This is something that brings you a lot of
Yeah.
anxiety.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm
a
not
lot of
typically an anxiety person, but it does. It gives me
well,
like
there's
that
so much.
nervous, accelerated heart rate. I fucking hate that feeling.
I
I
mean,
hate it. I'm usually much more calm than that, but
right?
man,
I mean, you're looking at 50 years of trauma and stuffed away
yeah,
emotions um and that's scary shit.
yeah,
The stuff that's going to come up, and maybe the stuff that you're going to have to see, like how much you might have in common with these people that you
mm,
don't want to have in common with.
yeah,
That's scary shit.
yeah. It is.
That is the shit you're going to have to see,
Yep,
sit with, and accept.
yep,
And you don't want that. Like
yeah,
it's the last thing you want to
yeah,
acknowledge.
yep.
So,
Yeah, I forget who it is. I forget if it was Nietzsche or Carl Jung, or I forget who the quote is, but one of those guys who was very into like dark shadow kind of stuff.
mhm,
Said in the pursuit of conquering monsters, one must ensure that he does not become a monster.
right. And you know what? With all the stuff and monsters that we have
Yeah,
in our past and our ancestry, and
yeah,
you know, the only way to avoid becoming like that is to see it and acknowledge it. So you can know, like, this is not something I want to be.
yeah.
That is way too many. All right, try it again. I am trying to just going to clarify the justice card.
Mm.
If we don't get something soon, then it's just like
Mm,
you
there it
had
is.
it right to start with.
Okay.
All right. So we have the Ace of Pentacles and we have the Fool. All right. So aces are all about new beginnings.
Yeah. So, um, Foxglove and I had recorded sort of the end. Some of these readings we have to do in two takes because um, iMovie, for whatever reason, only allows us to record 40 or 50 minutes at a time. I have to see if I can change that setting. But so we had started again with the bottom of the deck on the tarot, um, and um, Foxglove pulled a couple of clarifying cards and a final oracle message. And instead of hitting save, I hit retake and deleted it all. Maybe unconsciously I wanted to do that. I don't know. But either way, So anyway, the clarifying cards and the final message in the bottom of the deck have all been drawn already, but Foxglove will talk us through tying it all together and what it all means. So
All right.
the bottom of the deck was first.
Um, well, the bottom of the deck is the Hierophant, which is all about like family traditions and in like education, religion, tradition, those
Yeah.
kind of realms. Um, so the clarifying cards that we had dealt was for justice, and we've got the Ace of Pentacles, and we got the Fool again. So the justice is getting what you deserve, finally achieving and getting the things in life that you deserve. The Ace of Pentacles is all about new beginnings, and Pentacles are all about material things. It's all about nurturing and loving and discomfort, this home, and building this comfortable home and this comfortable life. So this is all about getting what you deserve because you're going to learn to nurture yourself. Nurture yourself, to give yourself grace, to love yourself, to work on that self worth. And this is such a huge part of this journey.
So as she was reading this before, what suddenly came clear to me that I wasn't quite latching on to earlier was the idea that this whole new journey kind of thing and starting a new, it's starting from scratch, a new approach. It occurred to me that what I've spent the last 50 years doing basically is trying to prove, instead of just being what I am, which I don't even know what I'm so far from knowing what that is right now. But I've spent the last 50 years trying to prove what I'm not through achievement, right? And so, you know, I was able to prove, I come from a family of unathletic, kind of heavy people with lots of diabetes and obesity, and I had to prove that that's what I'm not by becoming a personal trainer and getting into the fitness world, and similarly by becoming a certified nutrition coach. I had to prove that I had some mastery over that domain. Um, Throughout much of my life, I was a pretty terrible student, and I was sort of labeled the dumb one in my family of my siblings, and um, so I went and got a master's degree and a PhD to prove that I'm not the dumb one, that I'm not dumb, that I can do academic things, and I trained in all kinds of martial arts, judo and jujitsu and kickboxing and things, and joined the military to prove that I wasn't weak or soft or scared, prove that I was tough and I could do these things. Um, and no matter how hard I try to prove what I'm not, I realize I still have these similarities to people that are not what I want to be. And so maybe that new journey means just figuring out what it is I am and not having any comparison to anybody else at all, just letting them be who they are while I can be what I am.
Right. And recognizing that, you know, we are all part, like our ancestors and everything. I mean, they're all part of us, but they don't have to be who we are.
The other things I said that I should share so that they're on tape and I'm being fully authentic is that all comes, I know that all comes, that having to prove what I'm not comes from a base of shame, and a sense of, feeling like, and I know where this comes from. I get it. I know where it was developed, but I have this sense of being essentially worthless if I'm not achieving something, if I'm not building something, putting something together, if I'm not achieving a new credential, a new degree, a new project, a new endeavor, um, feeling like I'm worthless and unlovable in those circumstances, and I can't tolerate myself. I have a hard time like taking an afternoon to just relax. Right? I have to
You do
start.
not know how to nurture yourself at all.
And so um I mentioned during the last reading that I recorded that I deleted that I was glad we had a glass of wine because like my insides are doing somersaults as we talk about this. This is very
Mm.
emotionally hot. I don't know if it comes through or not, but it's has a big effect on me.
Which means that we are hitting.
Yeah, close to the truth, right?
Yeah.
When you feel that bass drum in your chest, you're
Mm-hmm.
right. When the answers come easily, when you're like, oh yeah, I know I do this because of X, Y, or Z, or this is how I was raised. Those answers are kind of safe, and there may be some truth to them. I'm not saying they're dishonest, but the real like core stuff, the shadow stuff, you feel in your guts
Yeah.
when it's right.
Yeah, it is
So
definitely an emotional.
yeah, and so then the final message you chose.
So I did a deck based off of runic.
Norse runes, yeah.
Yeah,
It's Taiwas.
it's Taiwas.
It's the eagle with
So,
the sword.
which is so you. All right, let me flip through and find
There it
where.
is.
Okay, so it's the eagle. Mhm. From the greatest heights, the eagle has a balanced and broad perspective of the world. Liberated from the tight personal viewpoints of those on the ground, he is able to see the true lay of the land. He is privy to the universal and cosmic ordering principles that, with higher consciousness, bring true and beneficial law and justice to the world. Taiwaz has a righteous warrior energy. Honor is its defining quality. With this rune comes the promise of a good and just outcome. The scales will be balanced. You might be asked in a position of leadership to make personal sacrifices. Do what you know to be right, as courage in a worthy cause will be victorious. So the key words is justice, honor, sacrifice, loyalty, and victorious. So this is basically this whole reading.
Mm.
I mean, we have the justice. That's clearly what we said about the justice. We have the celebration. We have the taking charge, the leadership role. You know,
Yeah.
we have, and we talked about like not, I mean, we have to learn to dig deep and see all of our different aspects, whether they are light or they're dark, whether we love them or we hate them, because they are part of us. And we have to learn to balance. One cannot be in more control of the other. We have to see them and balance those feelings and those things and know that one is not in charge of us, the other's not in charge of us. We are in charge of us. These are just aspects of who we are that we need to recognize and to bring into balance. And that comes from a higher perspective. That comes from sitting back and really looking at the whole situation and everything involved and not focusing on this one little thing that you don't want,
Yeah.
or one little thing that you do want, or one little thing that this is my goal to prove that none of the other ones exist within me. So, and doing this, like you're going to get what you deserve. Like you're going to balance these scales. It's going to be just, it's going to be good. But you have to take the journey. Now, what we did not do in the last reading is I did not look at the bottom of the deck. So this one we have Lagus.
Yeah, it's either we're not trying to pronounce it. It's either Lagus or Laguz. I think it's Lagus though.
Um, all right, and I will find it in just a second.
Hmm.
Did I pass it already? These little words, they're all so small. And I'm practically blind up close things.
There it is.
There it is. Okay. So it's there's a seahorse on the card. Floating in the great waters, this tiny seahorse feels the currents, ebbs, and flows. In this great universal ocean of life, and in her softly shifting dream state, she knows the unity of all life and the connection that flows through past, present, and future. In her world, water is everywhere, pervading all things, the living energy source of everything. She is a symbol of the unconscious, of invisible life forces, the dream state, the hidden aspect of the self. Lagos is a powerful ruin in the way water is powerful, fluid, and ever changing. It causes you to release the struggle and go with the flow. Spend time in meditation and allow your deeper intuitive state to speak to and guide you. Lagas reminds you that a life's journey, not all can be controlled, and change is the only constant. Without change, life becomes stagnant. Keywords: flow, memory, dreams, the unconscious, fate, and karma.
To which I think I said, well, fuck.
Yeah, exactly. Verbatim, you said, well, fuck.
All right.
And damn it, if the stag's not on the bottom.
Yeah.
And how many times have you gotten the stag?
That was the card that came up
during your journey.
During my journey.
Oh, wow. So, another connection,
My
another.
psilocybin journey.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Algus is the stag, page 30.
It also has the pentacle.
Yeah.
Single pentacle, just like the Ace of Pentacles.
Yeah. The king stag stands proud and tall with mighty antlers. He bestows his protection on all in his kingdom. Leading by example, the stag teaches the young how to show courage in the face of danger. Algus energy brings a powerful connection to the divine consciousness. This rune is an aid to speak and commune with spirit and the high powers. In a reading, it references a connection with the gods and an awakening. You have been granted divine protection that is also a teaching force, and you are encouraged to be in a state of listening. In reverse, which it's not, this rune can mean hidden danger, fear, and discernment from divine source, or disconnection from a divine source. The keywords are protection, defense, courage, independence, and higher self. The magical workings: this is one of the best runes for protection charms to aid in overcoming the fear of death. It makes a worthy tattoo for defenders and protectors from all walks of life.
Yeah. I'm kind of glad that you fucked up and deleted because we didn't do these two cards. And I think these two cards have so much connection with this reading and tying it all together. Yeah. The message. So, yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
Well, there you have it. I hope that this reading resonated with some people out there and you could get some value from it. I know it was about me this time, but I'm hoping that others could connect with it and get the message, find value. Please let us know. Yeah. We'd like to know.
Yeah.
But until next time, we'll just take a sip. And I am Dr. Sunshine, the biker psychologist, saying keep growing to your thriving.
And I am Fox Club.
I love you. Take care, everybody.
Don't hit retake.